Your sellers are already hearing about pre-market listing options from Compass agents, from Zillow's own marketing, from neighbors who just sold. If you walk into a listing appointment without a clear, accurate answer to the question they're about to ask, you're going to lose that listing to a more polished pitch, even when that pitch isn't the best strategy for your seller. Here's the problem most agents don't see coming. The pre-market listing seller conversation isn't really about marketing strategy. It's about seller anxiety. The agents winning it right now are winning because they speak directly to what sellers are afraid of, not because their approach produces better outcomes. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete defensible framework for the pre-market seller conversation, what the options actually are, what each genuinely protects, and what it doesn't. And we're going to give you the one question you must ask before you present any pre-market option to the seller, because skipping that question is where most agents create liability without knowing it. So let's get to it. What your seller has already heard. Your seller has probably already heard this pitch from Compass, from Zillow, from agents they interviewed before you. The framing targets two legitimate fears: days on market and price drop history. The argument is that going pre-market lets them test quietly before the public record starts. It sounds protective. That's why it works. Two types of sellers respond to that pitch. The first genuinely needs privacy, a safety concern, an occupant situation, a real reason to limit buyer traffic. For that seller, a truly private listing is the right answer. The second is anxious about pricing and exposure risk, but actually wants the widest audience. They just don't want to make a mistake in public. Those two sellers need completely different conversations. Mixing them up is where the pre-market pitch does the most damage. Oh, by the way, I'm Karrie Hill, lawyer turned realtor and co-founder of Smart Agent Alliance with eXp Realty. We help agents understand where this industry is actually going. And for the agents we sponsor, we built an agent portal with a full resource stack from Smart Agent Alliance and the Wolfpack, provided at no cost to our agents. Now that you understand what sellers are already hearing, let's build some framework for answering it quickly. The 4 seller options. There are 4 distinct pre-market options. Most agents present them like variations of the same strategy, but they really aren't. Each one comes with different trade-offs, different compliance requirements, and a different level of buyer exposure. Your MLS rules will vary by market. This is the national framework, so confirm your local rule with your MLS or broker before you promise anything to a seller. Option 1, truly private, no public marketing. This is the office exclusive or pocket listing. According to whatever rules, the property may be filed with the MLS as an office exclusive, but it's not shared through IDX or syndication, and it's not publicly marketed. This option gives the seller privacy. It doesn't give the seller broad market exposure. It's the right fit for a seller with a real reason to limit access, such as safety, occupant privacy, unusual circumstances. Not just Compass, eXp has theirs as well. Lots of brokerages have this, and it's totally acceptable. But it's not a pre-market strategy, it's a no-market strategy. Option 2, delayed marketing within the MLS. This option places the listing in the MLS but delays its public rollout through IDX and syndication for a set period based on the local MLS rules. 30 days here in Marin. During that delay, only buyers working with agents can see it through the MLS. So this option gives the seller control over timing, but it doesn't give the property full public exposure right away, although it is to every agent in the area. So there's a lot. Anyway, seller certification is required because the seller must acknowledge in writing that they are delaying the benefits of broad MLS distribution. This is often the most compliant place to start for a seller with timing concerns, such as needing some more time to prep the home for sale. Option 3, coming soon with public syndication. This is where most of the current industry activity sits, all the news lately. This option markets the listing publicly before the active MLS date through one portal or a limited group of portals. It is visible to some of the public, but not across all major portals and buyer search channels at the same time. This option gives sellers some early exposure and some control over timing. It doesn't give the seller full market exposure or the same level of buyer competition as going fully active on the MLS. It's often used when the seller wants some early visibility before the full launch, but agents need to be clear that public does not mean fully distributed. Option 4, straight to active on the MLS. This option launches the listing fully active in the MLS right away. It gives the property access to the widest buyer pool at the same time through the broadest distribution. This option creates the most competition. It does not shield the seller from public market feedback. It is usually the clearest path when the seller's goal is the strongest price through the broadest exposure. By the way, if you're getting any value from this video, hey, please subscribe so you don't miss our coverage as this pre-market landscape keeps shifting. Types of seller anxiety. Before you recommend any marketing option, figure out what is actually driving the seller's concern. The right option should follow the seller's real priority, not the last pitch they heard. Anxiety 1, days on market. Many sellers worry that if a listing sits too long, buyers will assume something is wrong and start coming in with pricing that's lower. That concern is real, but hiding it from the market doesn't fix it. Overpricing and weak exposure are what usually cause a listing to sit. A property that spends time in pre-market and then launches at the wrong price still has the same problem. The clock just started later. Anxiety 2, price drop history. Some sellers worry that if they reduce the price, that history stays attached to the listing. It does, but the answer is not a restricted marketing channel. The answer is better pricing, a conversation that happens before the property goes anywhere. Less exposure means less competition, and less competition is how sellers leave money on the table. Anxiety number 3, pre-market urgency. Some sellers feel pushed towards pre-market listing when the home is already ready to show. That usually comes from the pitch. Exclusive access framing makes sellers feel like they're being strategic, even when they are only reaching a smaller audience. If the property is ready and only shown on one portal or a limited group of portals, the seller has not reached the full market. It only feels that way. So all of this means don't start with the marketing option, start with the seller's goal. The one question, ask this first. What home sale outcome matters most to you? This question tells you whether the seller is really prioritizing price, speed, or privacy. If you skip it and jump straight to the marketing options, that's where agents create liability. If the seller says price, the pre-market pitch usually works against them. Competition drives price, and fewer buyers mean less competition. So if the seller wants the strongest price, the right answer is maximum exposure, which means going straight to the MLS so the full buyer pool can see the listing. If the seller says speed, coming soon can make sense when the property isn't ready to show yet because of renovation, staging, or tenant turnover. It builds awareness during a period when showings are not possible anyway. But if the property is already ready, coming soon adds less value. Either way, the goal is to reach enough buyers to create competition when the listing goes active, which means broad distribution, not just one portal. If the seller says privacy, the delayed marketing option or the truly private option may be the right fit, but the choice should come with the full seller certification and a clear explanation of what the seller is giving up in market exposure and possible price competition. Once you have the seller's goal, the rest of the conversation gets much easier. Here's how to run it. 5 steps for your listing appointment. Know your MLS's specific rules before talking to the seller. Ask what home sale outcome matters the most to the seller. Present the 4 marketing options with honest trade-offs for each. Match your recommendation to the seller's stated outcome. Document the seller's choice in writing, including any certification required by your MLS. The last point isn't optional. Seller certification is a formal requirement under NAR's multiple listing options for sellers for delayed marketing. And as the compliance environment tightens, the agents who have documented seller decisions are the ones protected when disputes arise. The pre-marketing conversation isn't going away. Compass has a polished pitch for it. Zillow is marketing it directly to consumers. Your sellers are going to hear about it, whether you bring it up or not. The agents who handle it well and lead with the outcome question present the options honestly and recommend the approach that actually serves the seller's stated goal. If you want to go deeper on how Zillow's updated listing standards draw the line between permitted and prohibited pre-market practices, that video is on screen now. And if you want to understand how eXp's coming soon syndication deal is structured differently from the platform gated models, that video is on screen now. Thank you for watching and have a great day.